I knew it was a sex comedy. I knew that it was going to be bizarre. I knew it was going to be over the top. I knew that it was going to be funny. I just didn't know how far they would take it, and wow, that was that was definitely bizarre. So The Overnight is a sex comedy starring Adam Scott, Taylor Schilling, Jason Schwartzman, and for the sake of not mispronouncing this last name, Judith. Pretty much is all about these four characters. Everyone else is a side character or an extra. The story is about Adam Scott and Taylor Schilling. They're a couple. They just moved into California. I don't think it ever says where in California. It's California. They're pretty average people, nothing too spectacular about them. And one day, while they're at the park attending to a birthday party for their son, Jason Schwartzman comes over and sees the kid and sees that his kid and their kid are having fun together. So he suggests, why don't you come over to our house, we'll have a party and kids could get to play with each other while the adults get to meet up. The night progresses, and then he suggests that why don't the kids spend the night and the adults can keep partying. I'm like, why not? Jason Schwartzman and his wife, they seem like they're a really hip couple, and they seem to be very sociable, and let's hang out with them. Well, it gets further along into the night, and Adam Scott and Taylor Schilling, they're wondering, hey, maybe this other couple are swingers, and maybe they're after us, and yeah. That's because Jason Schwartzman and his wife, they're a little too open of people, and it seems like they're not as uncomfortable talking about certain things that most people would be uncomfortable when talking to complete strangers. Now, as far as The Overnight goes, it's not one of those sex comedies that is really crude and really raunchy just for the sake of it, and it's not as bad as some of those other comedies. While at the same time, it doesn't hold back like some other sex comedies do. Like, for instance, Sex Tape, which holds back so much that it's just a really bad sex comedy. It's not even... Yeah, it's one of the worst movies I saw last year, in my opinion. Yeah, The Overnight is not afraid to go places, but at the same time, it's not as raunchy or as crude as some other fans of sex comedies might like it to be. A lot of the comedy and the tension and the situation comes from the fact that the two couples are very different. Adam Scott and Taylor Schilling are the average couple that's a little uneasy about this whole situation. They're a little more conservative about all this sex talk, while the other couple is more open and more artistic, more hip. So a lot of the comedy and tension happens with the clashing of these two couples and the differences between the two couples. And the comedy relies super heavily on that fact, so if that's not a type of comedy that you might want to see in The Overnight, then you might not like it. And for the most part, this movie takes place in one single night, so for a few people, it might feel like nothing's really happening in the movie. There is character arcs, there is a twist towards the end of the movie that I didn't see coming, that I should have seen coming from all the clues beforehand. But it is a very interesting, funny, and the characters are nice. It is a comedy that's smarter than you'd think it would be. And even though I'm not a big fan of sex comedies, I had a fun time with this movie. This is not the type of film that might be groundbreaking for the genre, but I definitely quite liked it. For me, I'm going to give The Overnight 3 stars. So have you seen The Overnight? What did you think about it? Go ahead and comment. If not, what is your favorite comedy involving a lot of sex? Like sex comedy, what's your favorite? And as always, this is Bruce Gifford, and this was Just My Opinion.